Thank you, Rose and Joe. Lovely. Good morning and welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Rochester. We're a church of open minds and loving hearts, celebrating many sources of wisdom and many spiritual paths. Your faith, your doubts, your hopes, your identities are welcome here. Special welcome to visitors and newcomers and those online as well. We're glad you're here. There is a preschool playroom open for young ones just past the lobby throughout the morning, and groups for kids following the time for all ages. Newcomers are always welcome there too. And after service, you can join us down in the Commons for refreshments and fellowship, where you can find ways to get connected in the church and the community. And you can find information about our church and an upcoming events calendar on the back of your order of service as well, or anytime on our website to learn more or contact staff if you have questions about how to get involved in the life of the church. Our justice partner for this month is the Jeremiah program, Disrupting Generational Poverty Through Supportive Programming and Housing. You can give as the plates pass or anytime online. There's a QR code as well in your order of service. Thank you for your generosity. A few special notes, two social justice notes. First, you can visit the lobby table today to continue and finish the work of Postcard Justice Ministry, of sending our values around to many different and important district areas to continue to advocate for values of justice this election season. You can help with postage or turn things in or pick up some packets still. There'll be an upcoming postage and ice cream party, I believe, in the coming weeks as well. So you can visit the table today in the lobby to learn more about that or see your e-news as well. And you can sign up in the Commons downstairs for an Isaiah event, one of our statewide justice partners, on September 7th, to be held here in the Commons. This will be a training for people of faith on what is possible to enable more people to take part in democracy, building multiracial solidarity. You can see Shelley with any questions about how to get involved in that and be engaged in this important election season. And then you can save the date as we move forward toward fall programming. Each year, the Sunday after Labor Day, we move to two services again at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. with our annual water communion service that day. Each person invited to bring a bit of water from home or some special place to share in a communal ritual. The following Wednesday, we return to Walden Hill Wednesday programs, a weekly dinner with choir and other various groups. This year we'll have some new options, a slightly adjusted schedule, but mostly the same old lovely supper and fellowship and programs every Wednesday night. So you can keep tabs on your e-news and special announcements about all of that and other opportunities for connection this fall, beginning Sunday, September 8th. So as we enter our time of worship this morning, I invite you to take a breath. And we'll start our time together with these words from our minister in the 1870s, the Reverend Eliza Tupper Wilkes. May our faith in humanity and our message of hope and good cheer light our way. It's good to be together. In just a moment, the opening hymn will call us back. It's in your teal hymnal. If you don't have a hymnal, they're on the sides. The ushers can help you. Before we sing, I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Greet those around you. You can wave to those online as well.
Morning. Good. Looking for kids. Hey, Freya. Kids, if you are at Chalice Camp, you know this hymn. Come on up, and I've got some special instruments up here. And if you weren't at Chalice Camp, it's a really easy thing to do. Come on up, kids. We got drums, we got our shakers, and we got our claves. Do you remember Aiden? Or Adrian? Sorry. This is the open the window. Oh, yeah. The ones with the percussion. Yeah. So pass out. You want claves? All right. Anybody else want to have some fun with percussion? Come on up. All right, so we're going to get the beat going first. So if you got a drum in front of you, or if you got your lap, we're just going to set a nice steady beat like we're walking. And then if you got the claves, the sticks, you're going to go like this. If you got shakers, you want a shaker, Jim? Keep that going. Open the window, children. Open the window now. Open the window, children. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Mama and a papa are fighting like snakes. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Baby is a crying like her heart will break. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, children. Open the window now. Open the window, children. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Borders round the country, border round the sky. The window, let the dove fly in. The only border around you is the border around your mind. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, children. Open the window now. Open the window, children. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Neighbors lock their doors, build fences so high.
Open the window, let the dove fly in.
Don't see what's to discover on the other side.
Open the window, let the dove fly in.
Open the window, children. Open the window now. Open the window, children. Open the window, let the dove fly in again. Open the window, let the dove fly in. One more time. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Thanks, kids.
Our chalice lighting this morning is called Our Beacon of Hope by Joseph Cherry. As we gather together for worship this morning, being both near and far, we light our chalice, as we do every week. It is a symbol of our faith. May its light be a beacon of hope for the many, those who feel lost, those who feel threat, those who feel tired, those who are uncertain. May our beacon of hope help you find home, help you feel safe, give you respite, and honor your searching mind and spirit. With gratitude, we will now receive the offering.
I want to invite the children back up. You're going to get lots of little steps in today. You can come join me up here. I have something I want to show you, and you'll want to be kind of close, but keep a little room from the table, because something magical is going to happen. I think. We'll find out together. So come have a seat. Good morning. Good morning. So I have something to show you. This, for those of you who don't know, this big wood thing, it's called a pulpit. And it has magical things inside. Ministers think. And so I have two things I'm going to set on the table. This larger glass and this smaller one. I want you to watch. Because as I pour this into this, something magical could happen. But nobody knows yet if it will. Okay, not really. So I studied spirituality, not science, so we're going to try something else. I have another container. So let's see what else I have here. I've got a bell. I don't think that'll help. I've got apparently 2 gavels. Never leave home without one. But I do have, all right, good. I have one more container. And one more other container. So that's how many more containers? 2. Math. In here, I have something else. So if I pour this in here, it should do something magical. Do you see anything magical in there? Shoot. So, what do you think I might do instead? Yes, Stevens Royer children? Do you think I should pour that over into that one? Yeah. Do you think I should do that? So before I do that, sometimes people get very nervous when you combine things that are safely separated. Just remember that. But here we go. We have this container all contained. We have this container all contained. And then if we pour a little bit into there. Oh, very fancy. Bubbles. The magic of bubbles. And it'll keep bubbling for a little bit. This is the extent of the science I know how to do. But thank you. So what I think about sometimes is that in our tradition, we believe we learn from everything. From poems that we read, from songs that we sing, and from studying science about the world. And all of it teaches us something about life and how to be maybe happy or giving or grateful about the world. And to me, this is what this means. Sometimes we have all these separate things that on their own are perfectly fine, and sometimes perfectly safe, and sometimes good on their own. But sometimes if we keep everything so separate, there's a little less magic that happens. There's a little less of something interesting to notice. But when you combine things out of their safe containers, and bring things together, kind of like people who are different, I think that's where magic happens. Yes.
I thought you were going to pull out a Harry Potter one.
Next time, and you should have been running this, totally. Harry Potter one would have been great, Adrian. So you're going to spend some time with Chantel this morning, and I don't think if you do science with Chantel, we know Chantel knows science more than I do, and she'll do very fun things. But you can think about how do we combine things in the world and keep things mixed up to make some sort of magic together. So we're going to sing the Children's Benediction. It's on the back inside cover of your hymnal. I invite you to remain seated as we sing together.
Good morning. It is good to be with you. I invite you to settle in here as we create a place of communal caring and connection. It's our time to pause amidst the busyness of our lives, to slow down enough to consider the beauty that is here all around us, and to open a space for listening and love. Here, we honor all who support us in this caring, loving, and all-inclusive ministry. We send gratitude to Phyllis Beery, serving as our caring coordinator, arranging care for our members and friends in need. The members of our caring committee are wonderful examples of our compassionate community, holding us up as we go through challenging and happy times. And life can be challenging. We could all use some extra support with what life throws at us. And if you are experiencing those challenges in your life, we encourage you to reach out for support and help. If you need additional care or personal pastoral care, please reach out to Reverend Luke or myself. In this community, we share pieces of our lives with one another. We do this because all people here have value. Each person's experience matters. We lift up those who are experiencing sadness, illness, or loneliness. May the strength and love in our congregation help guide you. And we revel in those who are experiencing joys in their lives. May their happiness lift us all, and may their joy filter into all around them. We hold in our hearts this morning Matt Maurer and family. Matt will be undergoing an aortic valve replacement surgery on September 3rd, and they anticipate a week-long recovery in the hospital. Sarah shares that she is grateful that he is being seen at the best hospital in the country, but they are understandably nervous about the surgery, recovery, and impact on their family. Please keep them in your thoughts as they travel this road. Cards of support and well wishes are welcome for all. The Cards of Support list that is compiled weekly contains several members and friends of the church who are experiencing challenges or happy times, and is posted in the entryway of the church as well as in a link in your e-news. We provide the cards and postage and welcome you to leave those cards that you write near the basket in the hallway for mailing. Here, our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith is our focus. Let us carry that out into the wider world. May the faith in the Spirit of life, love for the community of earth, and love for the light in each other be ours now and in all the days to come.
I invite you to take a deep breath. Breathe deep the breath of life. Feel below you the earth and its ancient turning. Above you the sky, and beyond that the stars shining with their ancient light, holding you in this moment, this breath, you yourself made of earth and stars. Know that in this house you're named and known as beloved, as sacred. I invite you into this time of meditation, this time of prayer, first by sharing silence together. Spirit of life, source of love, God and Gaia of many names and beyond all naming. It seems so simple. Love your neighbor. It feels self-explanatory. Make sure our neighbors stretching down and around our block or through the countryside or in every city or every country. All the spiritual teachers have tried to tell us over and over that our neighbor is everyone. And to open our baskets to share our bread, or to open our doors to offer shelter, to say, yes, this is mine, but it is all of it ours. It seems so simple, and yet it feels so hard to know what to do, for whom, how often, in what ways, and maybe the uncertainty of it all is what keeps the question alive, nagging at us sometimes to keep moving in the directions of justice, where it is not all fixed at once, but every tiny moment of love is worth it to me, to them, to us. We hold in our hearts this day all those who suffer in mind, in body, or spirit. I invite you to bring the names you're holding in your own heart this day in joy or sorrow, in celebration or concern, and silently or aloud now in this time to speak their names. For all the names known and unknown, may we all be held in love and grace. These words of meditation are from Molly Hausch Gordon, entitled Not Seeking Nirvana. I am not the rain that hurtles from the cloud. I am the vapor that clings to remain. I am not the river that flows to the sea. I am the groundwater cleaving to deepest earth. I am not the leaves that float down, yellow and red. I am the brown, lacy one that hangs on till spring. I'm not seeking a life unattached. I am holding tight to everything that slips through my fingers at times, all the same. May that be so. Amen. The hymn is number 155 in the gray hymnal, Circle Around for Freedom. I invite you to remain seated as we sing. Rose and Joe will lead us.
Circle round.
The reading this morning is Cloud Anthem by Richard Blanco. Until we are clouds that tear like bread but mend like bones, until we weave each other like silk sheets shrouding mountains or bare gales that shear us, until we soften our hard edges, free to become any shape imaginable, a rose or an angel crafted by the breeze like paper mache, or a lion or dragon like marble chiseled by gusts, until we scatter ourselves, pebbles of gray puffs, but then band together like string pearls, until we learn to listen to each other, as thunderous as opera or as soft as a showered lullaby, until we truly treasure the sunset, lavish it in mauve, rust, and rose, until we have the courage to vanish like sails into the horizon, or be at peace, anchored still, until we move without any measure, as vast as continents or as petite as islands, floating in an abyss of virtual blue we belong to, until we dance tango with the moon and comfort the jealous stars falling, until we care enough for the earth to bless it as morning fog, until we realize we're muddy as puddles, pristine as lakes, not yet clouds, until we remember we're born from rivers and dewdrops, until we are at ease to dissolve as wispy showers, not always needing to clash like godly yells of thunder, until we believe lightning roots are not our right to the ground. Though we collude into storms that ravage, we can also sprinkle ourselves like memories. Until we tame the riot of our tornadoes, settle down into a soft drizzle, into a daydream. Though we may curse with hail, we can absolve with snowflakes. We can die valiant as rainbows and hold light in our lucid bodies like blood. We can decide to move boundlessly without creed or desire. Until we are clouds meshed within clouds, sharing a kingdom with no king, a city with no walls, a country with no name, a nation without any borders or claim, until we abide as one together in one single sky.
My refuge, my haven in the storm. Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on. This one knocked me to the ground, this one dropped me to my knees. I should have seen it coming, but it surprised me. Be my refuge, my haven in the storm. Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on. In the state of true believers, on streets called us and them, it's gonna take some time until the world feels safe again. Will you be my refuge? my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on. You can rest here in Brown Chapel or with a circle of friends, a quiet grove of trees or between two bookends. Will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on, carry on.
Thank you. Sometimes we say around church here to leave room for the Spirit. Sometimes it's slightly lighthearted when we're unsure of what our plans are going to be. Leave room for the Spirit. It'll all come together. Other times it's an open space. So in that spirit, in that song, I'm leaving a little room for the Spirit. What are your places of refuge? Who and where provide refuge for you? A chapel, a circle of friends between two bookends, a grove of trees, a box of instruments, all of it. Blessings, all of it. And who do you help provide refuge for? Or where are you part of providing refuge for a world so in need of it? And in these coming months, may you hold that question close for your own care and care of community. How do we provide refuge for ourselves, for each other? Where do we find refuge for the soul? So, I'm a little slow to do new things. That may be a surprise to some of you, maybe not at all to others. As you may notice by the fact I'm currently in a pulpit, apparently an archaic and dwindling thing in the world, but here I am just riding the waves of centuries of religion and practices that I do believe still have value. All that to say, for many, early in the pandemic, making bread was among the popular fads. I've never been much of one for popular fads. I was slow to that by a few years, maybe because the pandemic with ministry and 2 small children at home didn't invite a whole lot of bread-making time, actually, similar to many of you. But the gift of sabbatical this past spring into summer did allow for a bit more time, and I tried to bake a little more homemade bread. The results were varied. As much as I'm a person of routine and ritual, there's a joke in our home now that when I make what's called Papa Pizza, it just means you have no idea what the dough is going to be like. It never turns out quite the same. It's a mystery dinner. And I think that's okay. I tell myself. But my favorite part of all that experimenting was trying to learn the waiting. Stir and let dissolve was one of the hardest phrases for me. Often with not planning enough time to get all the things accomplished, I didn't think I had time to wait for the yeast to dissolve and bubble up with the water and the oil. It just took too long, 5 minutes, but too long, let alone the rising time or the second rise, or God forbid, an overnight rise. Who has time for that? There are, of course, in this many good things to learn. My soul tells me, or God, or emotional maturity tells me, or whatever, to wait, to pause, to let things rest, like the soul, to rest a bit. And to know that sometimes things bubble up and come to life when you have the right ingredients and the right time. Until we are at ease to dissolve as wispy showers, writes the poet Richard Blanco. Not always needing to clash like godly yells of thunder until we scatter ourselves, pebbles of gray puffs, but then band together like stringed pearls. There is something in that both-and-ness, the both and of baking, of dissolving yeast, that you need each ingredient truly and authentically bringing its own gifts and chemical reactions and possibility to join together to bring something to life. So often we live in a world with such rigidity. Sure, for some of the time, there's good reasons for safety, for predictability, for familiarity, yes. Like the liturgy, which for you non-church nerds, which is fine, that's the sequence of events in your order of service, how it holds an arc. That's why we tend not to clap in the middle most of the time, because it's not a recital with different parts, but it's an arc that ties together. That's liturgy. There are structures like that in church or in the world that have purpose and intention to build something together, to hold something important like our lives or the soul. And within those, there's almost always need for variance, for adjusting this or that, or flexibility or change or letting go, for adaptation. We know this all too well in our world as we define who is us and who is them with rigidity. Histories and centuries of defining with rigidity by mind and force the definition of people and places, of what is right or what is allowed. Sometimes these practices of reframing our understanding of the world can be kind of lighthearted too. I don't know if any of you grew up with a swear jar. I didn't, but I've heard of such things, where whenever you said a naughty word, you had to put a coin in the jar. We've held that joke a bit on our building team as a lighthearted practice to think about our language. Early in this process of working toward a new church location, we wanted to refer to our new place not as property so much, but simply as land, to root it in relationship rather than ownership, with a deep spiritual belief that it is impossible, in fact, to own land as some kind of subservient object to us, but that land is a living, autonomous part of creation, that we are in relationship with it and help care for it as best we can, as well as learn from the land and our interdependence with it. So the joke is that each time someone refers to it as property, you have to make a donation to the building fund. So you can take that into your mind too if you want. Sometimes the practice of reframing our language, our perspective, simply takes some communal, lighthearted reminder that leads to deeper reflection. Where to begin? Where to begin to wonder, how do we own anything? Maybe we start wondering about how are we rooted in ownership or relationship? So beyond the bread of my Sabbath time this spring and the summer, there were visits to our kindred churches around the country, Unitarian Universalist churches that we went to as a family in Minneapolis, in Madison, in Tulsa, in Cambridge, and a scattering in between. And in a few brief conversations, in particular in Tulsa, Oklahoma, there was a family, having learned we were from Minnesota, speaking about Minnesota literally being on their short list of places to flee to, depending on how things continued to go for their family with Supreme Court decisions and local state elections. This family who is deeply rooted in their community, beloved in their church, knowing that the rigidity and restrictions on their humanity might cause them to uproot and find a new home. And of course, this isn't new. It happens all the time. It's been happening these past few years and far beyond that for 1,000 different reasons. They knew they had a good amount of agency, access, and flexibility to go places, while many do not. We know this all too well along our southern border, how messy and complicated not only the laws and cultural biases are, but also the pathways to actually reach citizenship, but also to help do anything about the whole mess, muddled with messy, impossible contexts of immigration, of poverty and struggle. I wonder sometimes how intertwined the larger ideas of the individual, the rugged individualism of American myth, of going it alone, of forging one's own way, has influenced so much of our lack of communal care. I wonder if we're to stir things up just a bit in our souls, in society, in our minds, with possibility and with wonder, what if borders dissolve in the way that birds view them? To be refuge and sanctuary for each other, offering whatever small good we can to open the window, let the dove fly in. What might it open, and how we care for each other? The yeast in the mixing bowl isn't going to come to life on its own, nor will the flour or just the oil, all in these separate containers. The only way something starts bubbling up and then fill with air, ready to nourish the senses and the body, is if you mix things together, if you give it some time. There is a constant tension in our own tradition of the self and the community, the individual and the collective, that we are each individually beloved, sacred as we are, born, as some progressive theologians have written, in original blessing, and that we are completely and utterly interdependent, interconnected with all that is. That the life-giving possibility between the twisted extremes, one that we are self-sufficient on our own, or that we need to assimilate and should be considered the same as everybody, that our needs are all the same. The life-giving possibility between those, the generative possibility, lives between the extremes. That honors our unique and important differences, each of them as sacred, and by honoring that diversity, we celebrate who we are, diverse, messy, beautiful, broken, together. And this work need not be drudgery or a practice of gloom. Sometimes it feels like a mantra that's the opposite of Mystic Julian of Norwich, who always said, all things shall be well and all manners of things shall be well. We can quickly slingshot the other way in liberal justice work that all is going to be bad, all manners of things are going to be bad and sad and horrible. And that's not true either. Ours is a tradition that has always been about one among many, a belief in many spiritual paths and practices, a belief in many sacred identities, a belief in finding wisdom from 1,001 sources, ancient scripture, modern poetry, science, the arts, and from our own experience. And while it can feel pretty muddy sometimes, there is something lively and creative and generative in that. The invitation for something to grow, to come to life, the possibility for nurturing something from the muddy mess of our lives until it springs up with care and intention, is given life and air, of recognizing each ingredient as essential and holy. This work is an invitation to believe that amidst the mess of it, there is muddy possibility. Each of us offering what might feel like meager gifts to help heal the world, when maybe the call is to not fix the world, but first to simply love it. The world is only made up of each tiny piece, and while this moment right here, right now, might not feel like the world is fixed up the way it should be, and it isn't, and yet it's part of the larger interconnected fabric of all that is. like the most stretchy dough you can imagine that keeps clinging to the rest of the whole, each morsel springing back, essential to the rise into something more nourishing for body and soul. And sometimes to get things to come to life, you have to stir and wait, and then my favorite part, punch it down, and then wait some more for it to come back to life. It's therapeutic sometimes, just and then life can spring back. Until we are clouds that tear like bread, but mend like bones, writes the poet. Until we soften our hard edges, free to become any shape imaginable, until we truly treasure the sunset, until we have the courage to vanish like sails into the horizon or to be at peace anchored still, until we realize we're muddy as puddles, until we abide as one, together under a single sky. What ingredients are yours to bring to the bubbling possibility of a better world? What rigidity might you be holding on to that is in need of some softening or dissolving into something completely different? What people have you thrown your name among to know as your people, whether you know them by name or not, to help you stretch and grow towards the most nourishing life you are called to? What type of courage and truth and joy is your life speaking to these children gathered in this space? What is your life speaking to your neighbor or your friend? What words are you offering up to the song that carries the work forward? Our closing hymn is going to keep on moving forward. I want to caveat that, always an extra nuance from me, that we carry with us our past too, and ancestors and movements for justice, as well as the hard histories and stories of where we've been. We don't never look back, but we carry it with us as we continue that work forward, always in their spirit. I love him. The words are in your order of service. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing. Rose, Joe, and I will lead together. Gonna keep on moving forward. Gonna keep on moving forward. Gonna keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna reach across our borders. Gonna reach across our borders. Reach across our borders, never turning back, never turning back. Gonna teach our children courage, teach our children courage, teach our children courage, never turning back, never turning back. Gonna keep on moving forward. Gonna keep on moving forward. Gonna keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Invite you, as you're comfortable, place a hand on your heart or toward the sky or earth in gratitude. Take a deep breath. Feel below you the earth, ancestors and movements that have brought you to now. Feel ahead of you descendants and generations yet to come. You are the connecting string from them to them. May it be one of love and justice. Amen.